Hi everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with a scrapbook layout for the Traveller's Notebook Online design team, and I am going to be scrapping this beautiful little photo of my daughter taken last Christmas, and I'm going to be using this Cocoa Vanilla die cut backing kit from the new Midnight collection. As soon as I pulled this out of my design team pack, I knew I had to use it. It's absolutely stunning. And I decided I wanted to pull it off the backing and use it as a bit of a dimensional piece. So I did have a bit of trouble getting the die cut off the backing paper, as you could see there, but it came off in the end just fine. And now I'm just trimming as close to that cut file design as I possibly can without cutting into the backing paper design. As you'll see, what I eventually want to do is pop that whole circular piece up on some foam so it stands out from the background paper. And this piece, along with most of the Midnight collection, is available on the Traveller's Notebook Online. They have a great selection of items, so don't forget to check them out, and also use the code DTDanny for 10% off your order. I'll leave the links in the description box. So I've cut that all out and just going ahead and erasing all my pencil marks. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this Rosie Studio A4 cardstock pack, and I'm just taking the white out of this pack. I'm just going to back the backing paper just to give it a bit more support now that that centerpiece is gone. And I could have used a 12 by 12 white cardstock, but I just didn't want to. I wanted to use up this pad because I've had it for years. And I'm just using my Scotch ATG gun to adhere that to the backing. That was also from the Traveller's Notebook Online. And I'm just using two pieces of the white cardstock together, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick another offcut strip across the back where they join, just to give it a bit more substance. You won't end up seeing any of this, so there's no need to make it pretty. I'm just using up some older supplies that I have. So now that that's all done, I'm going to go ahead and glue my cut file onto my backing paper. Now, I started out with my ATG, but this was new to me. I'd just gotten it and I was having a bit of trouble learning how to use it. So I put that aside and I decided to pull out my little Bostik one just because it was a bit of a fiddly job. I could have used wet glue as well, but honestly, I just didn't want to deal with the mess. So I'm just lining up the die cut there with the backing paper and making sure it's all on there with no gaps, and it fit perfectly. I didn't have any problems. I'm just adding a little bit more tape there to make sure it is secure. And just lining it up, making sure there's no sort of white bits peeking out. Now I'm taking this Kaisercraft Snowy template and I'm going to use a little bit of modelling paste, and that's just the Montmartre brand. And I'm using a rewards card because I don't know where my palette knife is, as usual. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a diagonal design here across the page in each corner. Nothing major, just a little bit to add a little bit of dimension and texture and sort of give the whole page a bit more of a diagonal design. As you'll see at the end, it is quite diagonal across the page. So now I've decided that I want to do a bit of hand stitching. I decided from the start really that that's what I wanted to do with this cut file. So I'm going ahead and using a barbecue skewer because I have no idea where my pierce tool is. Are you sensing a theme here? It works fine. It's not the best, but a pierce tool is better. And I've just got a bit of foam behind there to give a bit of support while I pierce all those holes. So there you go. I've done 3 rings, as you can see. I didn't do the outer rings just because it took me long enough to do the ones that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and do a chain stitch. So I'm using all 6 strands of just white embroidery thread. And to make a chain stitch, you just make a loop, and then you'll come up from the next hole underneath and put your needle through the bottom of that loop and then pull it down, and it makes a cute little chain effect. So this gives lots of nice dimension. It was quite a fussy cut file, so if I just did a straight stitch, I didn't think it would stand out as much. And there it is all finished. I love how that looks so much. And it's a bit sad because I actually end up covering most of it. If I'd realised how much I was going to cover, I wouldn't have bothered stitching the whole thing, but oh well, hindsight's beautiful, isn't it? So now I'm just sticking my photo down onto some vellum. Just gives it a nice soft, it's such a soft, airy sort of photo anyway. I wanted to give it a bit of a soft border. And then I get distracted and decide I'm going to pop my die cut up on some foam. So you can see there on the back I've just stuck some washi tape down to capture the ends of my stitching. You can do knots, but I don't like having like the knotty lumps behind there, and I've just used some washi tape and that works and sits nice and flat. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my Minte by Carola Celebration 6x6 paper pad. This is also available on the Traveller's Notebook online, and it is a beautiful soft floral pad with heaps of designs in there. They're all double-sided too, which is really nice, and lots of soft blush pinks and mints and that bright chartreuse colour, which is a little bit different. I really like it. So I'm just going to go ahead and fuss around with some layers, get those adhered behind my photo, and I will go through with my scissors as well and just distress all the edges a little bit. Almost finished matting that photo. I just decided down the bottom right there was a little bit blank, so I've just popped in a tiny square of pink to round that out. And that's it for my matting, finally. So I just really like all those soft pink and mint layers. Now I've pulled out one of my die cut packs from the reject shop. I can't remember exactly which collection this was, but there's lots of pinks and rose gold, and I actually quite like that really warm sort of yellowy peach golden colour that's thrown in there, so I do pull out a few things to use in that colour. This is such a pretty die cut pack, lots of beautiful florals and feathers and just girly bits and pieces. And it's also got quite a few title pieces, as you can see there. I've pulled out some pieces that I'm going to potentially use for my title. I try out that Happy Day to try and bring in some more of that yellow, but I end up using these two. And I'm just going to play around with embellishing now. Love this big peach flower. That's the only one I have, unfortunately. Most of these die cuts come in pairs, but I've already used one of those, so I do end up cutting that in half. And I love those big raspberry pinks as well. A few little butterflies. Love those big floral clusters. So I do play around with this a little bit. I am pretty certain that's where my photo is going to go now, and as you can see, covered up most of that stitching sadly, but you can see quite a bit of it still. So bringing in one of these little tags for a bit of that nice golden yellow, and two of the florals there, making a bit of a visual triangle. And I absolutely love that little I love you tag. It's got rose gold foiling on it, so that goes up the top there. A couple of the little greenery, and just trying to bring in some of that minty teal colour too. That celebrate tag doesn't actually end up there, I don't think. Love this feather as well, so pretty. So as you can see, I'm trying to lay this out on a top left to bottom right corner sort of diagonal. That banner doesn't make it either, I don't think, but I do use all three of those butterflies, and I like that they're forming a little bit of a triangle as well. So now I'm just going to get some of my glue poured out. It's just tacky glue from Bunnings, nothing special, and I'm just using it with a paintbrush because I don't have a fine liner bottle and the tip on my bottle clogged, and I couldn't be bothered unclogging it. So this lets me be a little bit more precise as well, so I really quite like to do this anyhow. So nothing's glued down yet really, except for my photo matting, so I'm just going ahead and gluing all the die cuts onto the photo mat to get that all sort of together in one piece, because I want to pop that photo up a little bit more, and I don't want to lose all my positioning. So I've glued all that down off camera, and now I've decided I want to bring in some more of that bright teal in another place, because we have it in at the top of the photo there and at the bottom where the title is. So I'm trying out that wreath piece, but it doesn't make it, so I just end up using this, a tiny little scalloped punched circle. It's got some hollow foil on it, so I'm trying to hide it there. I don't want the hollow foil showing because all the rest of the page is rose gold foil, but I just want the edge popping out there, and I really like that in the end. Now I'm going to take my Kaiser Craft sticker book from the Lucky collection, and I'm going to use a few of these little heart circles just to sprinkle around a little bit more of the pink and the mint and some of that foil. I'm going to add this to my title. It's just DEC for December on a pink label with rose gold foil, so I'm just trimming it down there, and I'm just going to pop that down so that my title is Best December Day. So this was taken at Christmas time, and I just love that. So I'm going to also pop in the little 25, just ties that date together with the December. And I'm just flicking through now, just looking for a few more little touches. I use a couple more of the little circle hearts. So now I realise that I have that bright pink on either side of my photo, but none anywhere else, and that is bugging me a little bit. So I've just decided to use this sheet of planner stickers that I had lying around, and I use a little bright pink floral just down near the title there, just to bring in that visual triangle, and I like that a lot better. Now I'm just going ahead with some peach coloured sequins and popping them in along the line of that modelling paste, and a few around just in a few little clusters all over the layout. I just glue those down with a little bit of tacky glue. Off camera, I'm not going to make you watch me glue all of those down. Now I've decided I want to add a bit more of that watercolour effect to the backing paper. It doesn't go very well, to be honest. The backing paper didn't take the paint or the water very well. It started to, yeah, you can see me feeling it there. It started to roughen up and just didn't take the water well at all. So I just did a little bit. I only did the bottom just so it would match the top. It ends up looking fine once it dries, but I didn't want to risk going any further and ruining that paper. I've decided now's a good time to stick my die cut piece down, so I'm just peeling off all that tape. I do have some foam sheets somewhere, but goodness knows where. So down that goes. Love how that just gives a little bit of dimension up off the page. Now I want to add some more sparkle, so I'm going to use my Nuvo Golden Years confetti set. This is also from the Traveller's Notebook online, and I'm going to go ahead and use the rose gold squares and the ice white circles just to bring in a little sparkle and glitter to the page. I just sort of sprinkle them all over around the top and bottom where I have the sequins, and also around the little sequin clusters. Now if you notice there, if you didn't miss that, I knocked the entire bottle of the rose gold squares over at the top off camera, so it spilled everywhere. So make sure you're careful when you're using these, because they make a bit of a mess. I did manage to clean it up. So now what I'm doing is going ahead and putting down some foam inside the stitching lines, because that is quite raised, that hand stitching. So I want the photo to sit up on top of the stitching, but not much further than that. So I'm just putting down tape in between the stitching, and it sits up at just the right height then. And I've done the same thing down the bottom with the title. So I don't show that on camera, but that sits up just on top of the stitching just nicely. Off camera, I've gone through and bent up the wings on that butterfly and popped it up on some foam. So you'll see I'm going to do the same thing with this one. just to add a little bit more dimension. They look so pretty and like they're just going to fly off the page at any moment. And now for my journaling. I did struggle a bit with the placement of this, but some lovely ladies on one of my scrapbooking Facebook pages helped me out. So thank you, ladies. If you are watching, I really appreciate all the help. So I'm just going in with my grey Staedtler fine liner and doing a little bit of my handwriting across the bottom, and then we're into the close-ups. So I really hope you enjoyed this process. I absolutely love the finished product. I'm so happy with it. It's just so pretty and girly and perfect for a little baby girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you aren't already. Definitely check out the Traveler's Notebook online, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.